Alex is one of the best operators in Call of Duty history. Not only does he have an amazing backstory that rivals Captain Price's, but he commits war crimes like nobody's business. Much like me, he finds the Geneva Convention to be a suggestion. But Alex affects the story of Modern Warfare 2 more than anyone is going to expect. He has deep ties to the upcoming raids in Modern Warfare 2 and the Modern Warfare 2 DLC. And on top of that, his story is just amazing. Alex's full name was Alex Keller, and at the age of 18 or 19 he joins the US Army. And he is such a rising star and excels at being good at his job in the US Army, he gets promoted straight to Special Forces. And it seems like he had a very brief stint in the US Army and actually was promoted to Delta Force not long after being a Special Forces member. And as a Delta Force operator, he started fighting terrorists in the Middle East. And he was effective at his job. So effective that the CIA handpicked him to become a CIA operative. The CIA promised Alex that he would make a difference in the world. And on top of that, they had some conditions for him joining the CIA. First off, he had to give up the entirety of his real family. He would never talk to them again, never see them again, and never speak of them again. He had to give up his real name. They gave him a surname, Alex Keller. That's the one we know. We don't even know his real name right now. And the last thing the CIA told him was to be a CIA operative, you have to give up all of your affiliation with the US military. They removed all of his records of the US military. He is now a independent, third-party contractor working for the CIA, so if he gets captured, killed, or anything ever happens to him, the CIA has full plausible deniability. Basically saying they would hang him out to dry if anything happened to him. And in the CIA, he formed a very deep bond with his handler, Watcher 1, or as we know her, Kate Laswell. Kate Laswell controlled all of Alex's operations. She was his manager for what happened, where he went, and what he did. And along the lines, Alex committed a few war crimes, but I mean, who hasn't committed some war crimes? And this brings us up to the story of Modern Warfare 2019. This is when we first see Alex, and Alex starts off the game by committing a war crime, to stop a war crime. The Russians are using chemical gas on civilian targets, which in itself is a war crime. So Alex uses white phosphorus to attack the gas storage facility to set off the gas explosives, which is then itself a war crime. So Alex has already started off by being my favorite person in the campaign because the Geneva Convention, like I said, purely a suggestion. And Alex tries to retrieve the gas in the facility and stop it from being used against the civilians in Urzikstan. And this is when he gets ambushed by a bunch of rebels. They take the gas, kill a bunch of Marines, and then kind of just leave and say he's okay because he's American. And after losing the gas, he gets sent to hunt down the terrorist and find the gas. So he gets sent to Urzikstan, where he meets the URF, led by Farah Karim and her brother Hadir. The URF is the Urzikstan Resistance Force. And while working with the URF, Alex actually attacks a Russian airbase with the URF rebels. He actually destroys the airbase and helps the URF rebels get control of the area and end the Russian occupation in Urzikstan. Which is kind of a big deal because Russia was illegally occupying a space in a foreign country, Ukraine. As the Modern Warfare 2019 campaign goes on, you capture terrorist leaders and try to figure out where this gas is at. But no one that you capture has the gas, and they all say that someone more dangerous must have the gas if they don't. And it's finally revealed when Hadir Karim uses the chemical gas on Russian soldiers and his own goddamn forces that he was the one who stole the gas, committing multiple war crimes in the process, but he's a resistance fighter, so that's expected. This is also a huge narrative point for Hadir. This is when he starts becoming Khalid al-Assad and starts developing the motivations that made Khalid al-Assad. But anyways, Hadir escapes using a gas mask in a truck and delivers the rest of the chemical gas to the Al-Qatala terrorist forces, who then intended to use it against Russia, who is occupying their country, and commit more war crimes in the process. At this point, the US military decides to redesignate Farah's URF forces as a terrorist entity, meaning that the US government will no longer help them, and they will engage in firefights with the URF if it comes down to it. And this pisses off Alex, because not only is this something that he thought shouldn't have happened, but he decides to go AWOL because of it, meaning that he's no longer working for the CIA, and while Kate Laswell threatens him with this being illegal, he kind of brings up a good point. Everything that this man has done for the CIA has been illegal, so it really doesn't matter to him. Now, without the assistance of Alex or Farah, Captain Price and Gaz go to Russia to stop the chemical gas attack, and then they capture Hadir. Hadir, in a twist of fate, reveals that he has the plans for the gas facility and knows the exact location of them, which means that they can stop the multiple war crimes the Russians are committing in Urzikstan. And then Hadir is just kind of given to the Russians to help end hostilities. He's basically given away like a Christmas present. And now Alex, Farah, Gaz, and Price all work together in the very last mission of the game, in which they try to destroy the gas facility and kill General Barkov, the guy who's committing multiple war crimes by using chemical gas against civilian targets. And as you get towards the end of the mission, you're broken up into two groups. Farah and Alex, who are trying to go inside and plant explosives on the inside of the gas production facility, and then Gaz and Price, who have to go plant explosives on the pipes leading out of the gas production facility. As Farah and Alex get further into the mission, Alex is holding the detonator when a Juggernaut attacks them and actually puts a bullet into the detonator, making it no longer work. So once Farah and Alex get to the very bottom of the facility and they plant the explosives, Alex announces that the detonator is broken and he's going to stay behind to manually set off the explosives, which is kind of goofy because you could do the same thing with the walkie-talkie, but anyways. And Alex somehow survives, which stumped me and stumped Alex because he lost a leg. So Alex then loses his leg, survives the explosion somehow, survives the chemical gas of the explosion somehow, and this is when he meets the person who's very important to his narrative story, Ronan. Ronan is the operator we're getting in Modern Warfare 2 Season 2, but he's also the person who gave Alex his prosthetic leg. He taught Alex how to use his leg and how to remain effective in combat, because Alex wanted to go back and help the URF forces defeat the Al-Qatala forces. However, since Alex went AWOL as a member of the CIA didn't take him back, and instead he gets reassigned to WARCOM, or as we know it, War Command. And this is when we see Alex get reintroduced into Modern Warfare 2019 in Season 3, along with the operator Ronan. These two go to Verdansk and try to help out stop the events of the invasion of Verdansk. And it's not long after until Alex is redesignated as a member of Task Force 141, specifically designed to help Captain Price stop the invasion of Verdansk and the launch of the nuclear missile by Viktor Zakhaev, who just wants to set off a missile because he has daddy issues. And after the invasion of Verdansk is over and the nuclear missile launch is aborted by Captain Price, Alex gets reassigned again as member Task Force 141 to help out in Urzikstan with Farah Karim, and help out stop the Al-Qatala forces in the area. Which brings us to Modern Warfare 2, where Task Force 141 is still fighting the Al-Qatala forces. While Alex is specifically stationed in Urzikstan, the rest of Task Force 141 is traveling around the world to stop these terrorist threats. Once Task Force 141 stops all these terrorist threats, it's discovered that Al-Qatala is going into an old underground facility. And in the Modern Warfare 2 Raid Atomgrad, it's discovered that Alex actually went into this underground facility with members of the URF task force. Their goal was to find out what was going on in this facility and why these operators of Al-Qatala were going in and not coming out. And this is when Alex and a couple members of the URF actually go into this tunnel system to find out what's going on. And due to the concrete and how far it is underground, not a lot of communication from Alex gets out. And the only communication that he really sends out is a message saying these tunnels are bigger, wider, and longer than I expected, and I'm just gonna keep going. However, this does not work out well for him. The URF forces he's with actually get killed, and they get left around the site of a nuclear missile. And Alex himself actually gets captured. And it's not a stretch to say from this room we found right here that he was interrogated. There's a lone metal chair in the middle of the room surrounded by blood, and there's handcuffs on the table over to the side, which indicate that they held someone prisoner and were interrogating him. Along with that, Alex is not among the bodies, so the Al-Qatala forces still have him. And this brings us all to one very important point. We know that Makarov is leading the Al-Qatala forces and the Los Alamos cartel and manipulating them from behind the scenes. He's also the one who convinced the Al-Qatala forces to take the nuclear warhead out of this missile they found in the underground silo and capture Alex. He intends to use Alex in some way, and we really don't know how yet, and he has very big plans for Alex, and very big plans in general. He made a ton of contingency plans for in case Hassan failed in the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. And we know Hassan failed because he got a bullet through his head. So Makarov enacted multiple contingency plans. And if you want to know Makarov's contingency plans, I'll include a link here at the end. And this brings us to Modern Warfare 2's introduction of Ronan. Ronan is a very deep emotionally connected character to Alex. His return in Modern Warfare 2 Season 2 indicates that he's only coming back because he wants to find Alex. And while we don't have the complete story yet, it's not hard to imagine these two really close buddies would try to save each other if one of them got captured. Alex's story is very deep-rooted in what's going to happen next in Modern Warfare 2 and the Modern Warfare 2 raids, and the Modern Warfare 2 DLC. But if you want to know a little bit more information about Makarov's contingency plans, I'll include a link to that video right here at the end. And if you want to know a little bit more about Modern Warfare 2 Season 2, and at least what we know so far that's been leaked, I'll include a link to that right here. And until next time, I am Icebergs, your Call of Duty informant. Stay frosty.